because of what we are presenting now. So let's take a look at what we are, how Supreme Pontiff has prepared the multi-layer quarantine facilities in India.
So the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has revealed that at least 6 months back, I became aware that the multi-layer quarantine is needed to protect people. If you are in India and you want to protect your immediate family, get them immediately to our campuses. So this is what Supreme Pontiff has revealed a few days before in Satsang.
The free COVID care centers opened across India. It's opened in Adi Kailasa in Bangalore, Salem Adinam, Tiruvannamalai Adinam, Rajapalayam Adinam, Puduvai Adinam, Pattanam Adinam, Sriragapadi Adinam, Sripuram Adinam in Hyderabad, Madurai Adinam in Tamil Nadu, Avathipalayam in Erodu, and Hosur Adinam in Tamil Nadu, and Baroda Adinam in Gujarat. And we are preparing all these facilities to be able to receive people to protect yourself from the COVID pandemic through the multi-layer quarantine. And if you are interested in availing this facility, which is provided by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, absolutely free of cost, all you have to do is see the link that's scrolling. It says, save your life now. Literally, save your life now by going to kailasa.org/Kailasa care. That's the link that's projected at the bottom of the screen. So go ahead and register yourself so that one of the team members can get in touch with you and they can give you further details on what are the things that you need to avail the COVID care facilities and what we are offering in India.
Here is where Kailasa rushes to help as India finds itself on the verge of COVID-19 third wave. So number one, by multiple free COVID care centers opened across India. So we had read out these more than 10 centers across India for you to have your preventive and protective COVID care. Number two is various social services which are offered during the pandemic in the Nithyananda Kailasas and ashrams across India. Spiritual services offered during the pandemic in Nithyananda ashrams across India, and before cosmic revelations on the global pandemic.
So let's see in terms of the free social services offered during the pandemic in the Nithyananda ashrams in our Kailasas monasteries worldwide. We have medical care, Medicare, allopathy, Ayurveda, Siddha medicine, fire safety equipment, infrastructure to accommodate thousands, accommodation for multi-layered quarantine, emergency ambulances, ICU on wheels, personal protective medical equipment, groceries collected for another, and organic farming. Next, we are going to show you some of the pictures of offering these facilities in Adi Kailasa Sarvanyapita.
Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham Paramashivoham.
I want the whole world to know Hindus have something great to contribute to the world.
Kailasa is proper customized spiritual service helping you to identify your root patterns of suffering. We have perfected the science of helping every individual from every cultural, religious, nationality background. You will have lowest reactionary assumptions, highest awakened response, alive response for life continuously. Kailasa is enlightenment ecosystem, literally enlightenment itself in your own home, wherever you are. Proper customized spiritual service helping you to complete with your life negativity, withdrawal from life, self-hatred, self-denial, self-doubt, so much of tiredness, laziness. We can support you aligning your diet, your attitude, your aptitude, your understanding about life. We can help you with everything.
Om Nithyananda Paramashivu.
The whole Adi Kailasa Sarvingapita is getting geared up to receive the huge influx of people to protect in the multi-layered quarantine. The entire Adinam, the places are getting cleared up to accommodate about 10,000 people in Adi Kailasa Sarvingapita itself. So here we are seeing some of the pictures where the whole Adinam is being cleared up. All the places are becoming, getting prepared to receive people, to accommodate people. So here we are seeing the monastic members, the Adinavasis, clearing up the living, the spaces to convert them as accommodations for the people who are coming in. So all the storage spaces, everything which was used earlier for storage, everything is now being cleared so that more and more people can be accommodated, because that is what every space has to be used for, an optimal use of the space so that everybody can be accommodated comfortably. So all the places are being cleared up, cleaned up, and being opened up to receive people, provide shelter, accommodation. So the monastic members, the Adinavasis, are literally working round the clock to provide these facilities and rearrange all the items to open up the areas, cleaning them. And here you can see the dormitories, which were used for storing all the grocery items and storing all the items earlier. Now all of them are being cleared up so that the living spaces are made available and all the stock is being moved to a different place. So here you can see where all the groceries and everything was earlier stored in the dormitories are now being cleared up. So these dormitories can be used to accommodate thousands of people who are rushing to Adi Kailasa. So if you would like to avail this COVID care protection and join the COVID care protection centers of Kailasa, you are more than welcome. So please do go ahead and sign up in the link that's projected in the screen, which is kailasa.org/Kailasa care. The whole place is getting geared up for us to receive tens of thousands of people. Next, we are going to share with you some of the specialties that are being given at Adi Kailasa Sarvajna Peetham.
Yes, so you can actually join one of these COVID care protection centers by registering through the link which is provided, kailasa.org/Kailasa care.
Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
So next, we are going to see a quick glimpse from Kailasa's Department of Health on COVID protection at Adi Kailasa Sarvajna Peetham.
So you can see the various immune boosters and the COVID care supplements procured. First is the allopathic immune boosters, the zinconia, vitamin D, and vitamin C, which are actually procured.
And through Ayurvedic medicine, immunity boosters are provided to protect all the residents of Adi Kailasa Sarvajna Peetham absolutely free of cost. Whatever we are sharing, all these facilities are being given absolutely free of cost.
So what is the immune boosters and COVID care which is provided to the Adi Kailasa residents in the Sarvajna Peetham? So steaming once a day with tulsi, eucalyptus, nochi, and turmeric leaves. And all these herbal leaves are actually taken from the healing trees which are available in the Adi Kailasa itself. And twice a week consumption of Kabasura Kudini. So it is a mixture of pepper, ginger, cloves, and other ingredients extensively aimed for boosting the lungs, improving the respiratory system, and cough, cold, and fever.
Then we have Nilavembu Kudini to be taken once a week, Agastya Legium for 5 days, Talisadi Vatakam 3 to 4 tablets per day for 5 days, Indugandha Kashayam and Amrutottara Kashayam both for 5 days, 1 teaspoon with 50 ml of warm water. All these are being provided to every single resident who is walking into Adi Kailash. So not just the Supreme Pontiff is not just giving a multi-layer quarantine facility, but ensuring that giving enough immunity boosters so that we never contract that disease at all. So everything under the sun Swamiji is doing just to keep us alive, absolutely free of cost.
With the Sudarshana Gulika once in every 5 days, gargling with salt and turmeric twice a day. And apart from this, a very beautiful spiritual routine of Panchakriya, detoxing your body, Haritaki, castor oil every day with neem juice, and Pratama Vinyasa Krama Yoga, and Trinetra Kumbhaka Pranayama and Puja.
We have basic sanitation and safety practices, the disposal of soil, pads, infected material, and non-biodegradables done through incineration, which is basically burning them, and RO water systems for drinking water, cleansing and sanitation of overhead tanks, regular de-weeding, maintenance and repair of electrical circuits, communication facilities for the safety of the residents, compost pit filling with biodegradables.
The next is diagnosis, COVID care, and quarantine methodology. How is it done? So immediately when you arrive in the campus, you will be quarantined for 15 days, and a swab test. Like when you reach the campus, you'll reach with the RT-PCR test, and then once you reach the 5th day of quarantine, and all the food handlers will be wearing masks, gloves, and keeping up the social distance.
And we have disposal of waste food to be done with gloves and masks, disposal of gloves and masks by incineration. In case of emergency, protective kits are ready at hand to take a COVID positive patient to the hospital.
So hand washing and infection control, by washing hands as often and thoroughly with soap and water or with alcohol-based hand sanitizer, and avoid sharing any items like dishes or drinking glasses, cups, eating utensils, towels, beddings, any other items with other residents in the Adina.
And wear a mask at all times when and if exposed to vendors or outside people. Double layer cotton mask should be changed every day up to 24 hours and can be reused after washing with a detergent and sun dried. If it by saliva, secretions, or sweat, change it and wear a dry mask. The wet mask can be stored in a sealed plastic cover and washed with a detergent and reused later. So here you can see the double layered cotton masks.
And a face sheet where it will be provided as an extra protective wear for people at the gate who are interacting with the outsiders. So use of hand sanitizer, hand washing, regular steaming, taking of preventive kashayams, turmeric salt water gargling, and bathing with washing of clothes with history of any exposure. So if any of the symptoms like cough or fever or difficulty in breathing is there, he or she will be immediately informed to the medical person in charge immediately.
The quarantine loads, the first line of quarantine, people in the first circle who are in contact with the vendors. So the area of stay is confined to the outermost area where communication with the outside is happening with the vendors. They stay in a well-ventilated single room, preferably with an attached or a separate toilet.
So the person should not come into contact with the inmates, and especially elderly people, pregnant women, children, and people with comorbidities like hypertension, diabetes, heart problem, and asthma, and restricting his or her movement within the area or room. That is the first line of quarantine.
And whatever package is being received, it's received at the gate, it's sanitized, it's sprayed with a disinfectant, and pretty much all deliveries are contactless deliveries where the person comes, they drop the material, and then that material is kept there in that place, isolated place, and then the person in the first layer of quarantine goes and handles that material, and the outer packaging of the item or the product will be disposed before it even enters the arena. The packages will be quarantined, even the packages will be quarantined before being delivered.
So all the delivery bags, the boxes, containers will be thrown away after transferring the items to the respective places. The surfaces of the package will be cleaned with a simple disinfectant and left to dry. And all the hands handling the package will be thoroughly washed with soap, water, and antibacterial solution very frequently. And all the mail and packaged non-perishable products will be left outside for 24 hours before using them.
We have a question from one of the viewers, Anne Marikas, who's asking, these COVID care protection centers are meant to accommodate people from India or neighboring countries to protect them from COVID and not anything else. Can you confirm? Yes, ma'am. These are for people mainly living in India to protect themselves from the COVID situation, especially the pandemic going on in India. Yes. Now, the delivery of packages will be disinfected with sodium hypochlorite. Will be used, and 1 teaspoon of bleaching powder in 3 cups of alcohol at 70 to 90% will be used for surface disinfection. And clothes to be washed separately with detergent and sun dried. That's very important. Items is strictly prohibited. This prevents the spread of virus.
So these are the various warning signs. So if the fever continues for more than 5 days, fever returns in the second week after having been afebrile for a day or two, fever more than 100 degrees Fahrenheit after the 4th day, and resting heart rate is more than 110 when there is no activity happening, breathlessness and tightness in chest.
And then if the oxygen saturation level reduces less than 94% or the 6-minute walk test, we record the saturation rate before and after walking briskly for 6 minutes. If the saturation falls more than 3%, it is not favorable, and less than 94% of the oxygen is not good as well. And if the person is continuously coughing, having a relentless cough.
So you can see the in-campus ambulance, which is ready for any medical emergencies to be handled.
And we also have oxygen cylinders, 2 big oxygen cylinders. And we have a person standby in case we need to refill the oxygen. We have that option as well. A fully equipped ambulance to take in case of emergency.
So the preventive measures. So people who come in as newly will be given a separate room with toilet facility, and under no circumstances will they exit the room. And the designated quarantine person picks up the food after the person who serves the food is at a safe distance of 6 feet, and the food will be placed outside the door.
And we monitor the person who's quarantined. They speak with the medical team. We monitor all their vitals. And if the temperature goes high, we give paracetamol, to reduce temperature. And we ensure that they are properly hydrated. They have a nutritious diet. They do steam inhalation twice daily, and they do the salt and turmeric hot water gargling twice a day.
So when you're quarantined, you'll be monitored with Ayurveda and Siddha medication as per instructions, and the doctor will be contacted if there is any worsening of symptoms or specific management, which would be with further consultation, investigations, and treatment. And the residents, they will be asked to continue taking the medications if they are on any other treatment like blood pressure or sugar or heart ailments. And the doctor will be consulted if the comorbid situations poses a higher risk.
Next, we have the residents on medication will be asked to bring 2 months of supply. So the Adhinam is able to organize the medication for them, people who are already on medication. And the residents will be asked to take long, deep breaths, do pranayama, lying in a prone position on a tummy as much as possible so that the lungs can expand well and they can breathe properly.
So if there are no symptoms, the person will come out of the quarantine after a total of 15 days, and the test will not be repeated if they are clinically well. But if there are symptoms, the person will need to be retested, and they would need a medical opinion and necessary investigation and treatment.
So typically the common symptoms that we look for are fever, sore throat, fatigue, cough, body aches, headache, loose stools, vomiting, losing the sense of smell or taste, exhaustion, giddiness, and fainting.
So in the second line of quarantine, the previously mentioned symptoms will be provided with immediate evaluation and hospital care. And early detection of these warning signs and identifying the timeline is very, very crucial for the better outcome. And these will be monitored very closely. And that is the most important thing that needs to be done.
Identifying the day one of symptoms is very crucial in the management with respect to monitoring and treatment protocols. So the day one would be when the first symptoms started. Instigate the possible source of contact. All the people who have come in close contact, 3 to 6 feet range with the primary case in the last 3 days need to be isolated separately and monitored for symptoms as well. The infectivity starts 0 to 3 days before the onset of symptoms, and the infected person sheds the virus till 9 days.
So any of the above symptoms in various combinations signals the possibility of COVID. So even though the same symptoms can happen with any viral infection in a pandemic, it is to be considered as a possible diagnosis. It is until proven otherwise. So rare presentations are rash on a body, bluish discoloration of the fingers and toes, sudden onset of breathlessness, heart attack, strokes, paralysis of the limbs. So any suspect case should be immediately isolated.
The RT-PCR test is to be asked for, and in symptomatic people immediately. The contacts will monitor for symptoms and will get tested if any symptoms show up. Else to wait for 5 days if they continue to be asymptomatic. They can check their status. Thereafter, a negative report ensures that they can move into the community.
Yes. So each and every group which is actually quarantined will be having a lead. So these are the following instructions that will be followed by the lead. So only an assigned member will be tasked with taking care of the quarantined person, and use disposable gloves when cleaning the surfaces or handling any soiled linen of the individual, and washing of hands after removing the gloves.
No visitors to be allowed in the vicinity of a quarantined person. In case the person being quarantined becomes symptomatic, all the close contacts taking care will be quarantined for 15 days and followed up for an additional 15 days or till the report of such a case turns out negative on lab testing.
Yes. In the second line of quarantine, the environmental sanitization is like cleaning and disinfecting the frequently touched surfaces in the quarantined person's room. For example, the bed, the bed frames, the tables, every day with a bleach solution. Clean and disinfect the toilet surfaces every day with regular household bleach solution or the phenolic disinfectants. Clean the clothes and other linen used by the person separately using common household detergent and dry.
Now, the Adinavasis who are coming into the Adinam must take the following tests. We are going to list down the tests and the results to be sent to Ma Santana Lakshmi, which is ma.santanalakshmi at nithyanandauniversity.org. The results will be reviewed by the medical team at the Adi Kailasa Sarvanya Beta campus by the Dr. Atmananjana, Dr. Santana Lakshmi, and Ma Chandra Vidya.
So, what are the basic medical tests? Will in the blood test, like complete blood count with peripheral smear, it is a mandatory requirement. The blood group type, fasting and postprandial blood sugar, renal function test, blood urea and serum creatinine, VDRL, HBsAg test, HIV, thyroid function test, serum T3, T4, and TSH, ECG, liver function test, and the lipid profile test.
So please get your RT-PCR test for COVID-19 taken 2 days before coming into the Adinam and send it to the previously mentioned email address to get your clearance. So you will be ma.santanalakshmi at nithyanandauniversity.org. The medical team will communicate to the administration of the respective Adinam with regards to the medical status and the approval status.
Yes. So once communicated, the person should come into the Adinam within 24 to 48 hours of the test. And if there are any pre-existing medical issues like hypertension, diabetes, or any other chronic diseases and comorbid situations, so please bring in the recent reports and prescription from the attending doctor. And a medical form will need to be filled in by all the new occupants. A legal disclaimer will also be required to be signed.
And those of you who are watching this, if you want to avail the service and just protect yourself to be alive, just be alive till the end of this year. That's a very clear and a very strong message from the Supreme Pontiff multiple times. And Devi Parashakti also has revealed the same thing. Just be alive. So all you have to do is go to kailasa.org/Kailasa Care. The link that's projected on the bottom of the screen, and go ahead and register yourself so that we can connect with you and get you up to speed and give you all the requirements that you need to be able to come and stay in the monastery. So all the people in quarantine will be monitored for temperature rise, oxygen status, and other symptoms during the period of quarantine. Anyone with symptoms should be reported immediately. The designated quarantine person will be responsible for monitoring the vitals.
So the equipment should be sanitized after every use, and knowledge for the same will be given by the medical team. The report of these recordings will be reviewed by the medical team. And during the quarantine period, certain Ayurvedic and Siddha preparations, steaming, saline and turmeric water gargle, and other immune boosters will be given by the caregivers, which has to be followed strictly.
So basic rules of living in the Adinam. After 15 days, you can be out of quarantine. Please follow the basic rules of living in the Adinam, some of which are listed below. Smoking, drinking, drugs, substance abuse is strictly prohibited. Consumption of non-vegetarian food, which includes eggs, seaweeds, all these things are strictly prohibited. Illicit sex is strictly prohibited. Please follow the basic etiquette like wearing traditional Indian clothing, personal and environmental hygiene and cleanliness.
So the following measures will help prevent the spread of infections in the Adinam like cold, flu and stomach bugs, and protect the Adinamasis. So make sure the workplaces are clean and hygienic. Surfaces like desks, tables, objects need to be wiped with disinfectant regularly to prevent, and promote regular and thorough hand washing the Adinavasis. Keep sanitizing the hand rub dispensers in prominent places around the workplace, and make sure these dispensers are regularly refilled, and display posters promoting hand washing, and washing kills the virus on your hands and prevents the spread of infection.
And promote good respiratory hygiene in the workplace. Display posters promoting respiratory hygiene. Good respiratory hygiene prevents the spread of infection. Anyone with even a mild cough or a low-grade fever needs to be monitored by the health personnel with isolation, even if symptoms are mild. Never take it lightly. They should wear an ordinary surgical face mask rather than a 995 face mask in their quarantine room. Medications such as paracetamol, acetaminophen, and ibuprofen aspirin may mask symptoms of infection. And ensure and pre-order sufficient supplies and materials, including masks, tissues, and sanitizer for all the people.
So this is the various travel precautions. And we can see, yes. So traveling outside the Adinam will be discussed with the medical department, and no one will leave the campus without any proper approval. So this is the plan of action when someone is infected with COVID-19. So the plan should cover by putting the ill person in an area where they are isolated from others. The local health authorities will be notified, and the medical team will have a working relationship with the nearest hospital for any medical emergency. And the emergency contact numbers will be noted down, and where you have to shift the people to in case any emergency. And all the medical team members and admins will have it, and for their immediate reference.
So here you can see the oxygen concentrators in emergency, which can be used. Immediately give oxygen to the person. So if you would like to avail these services, or if you have family in India, and immediately they will listen to you, immediately have them rush to Adi Kailasa. And you can register for this by signing up in kailasa.org/Kailasa care. The first Kailasa has double A, the second Kailasa has a single A. So the kailasa.org is kailasa.org/Kailasa care, which is KAILASA care, CARE. So that's the Kailasa care. So with that, we invite every one of you who are watching us in this segment. If you have any questions, you can post it in the chat. If you when you are listening to all of these, and when you're watching these, what is your feeling when you are watching this, and when you are listening to all the services, the free services provided by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism? What is it that you feel? Please do come and go ahead and comment in the YouTube chat, or also in the Facebook chat if you're watching us on Facebook, because currently YouTube only members are able to post on YouTube currently. So if you are unable to post your comments on YouTube, you can even post it on the Facebook live stream, under the Facebook live stream as a comment. When you are watching this, and when you're seeing the extent to which the Supreme Pontiff has done such detailed plans to provide multi-layer quarantine, not just multi-layer quarantine, providing immunity boosters, not just immunity boosters, having regular checkups and sanitizations and whatnot. When you are watching all of this, what has been your, how do you feel about it? What is your feedback? And what do you feel about this whole thing? The whole COVID care protection provided by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. So please do come and share with us on YouTube Live, and we'll be seeing some of the comments. Yes, here is Lezing, Nithyananda. If you have any questions, you can also post it in the YouTube live chat. And the link is also projected on the screen, which is kailasa.org/Kailasa care. So please do come and put your comments in the chat. Put your comments. What does it feel when you are watching, and the extent? See, please understand the extent to which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism goes in providing these COVID care facilities absolutely free of cost. Swamiji said, "I'm not going to accept. We are not accepting. We're not asking anybody to pay any fees, nor we are even asking for donations for this. We are just completely opening it up free of cost for anybody and everybody, having all the medical facilities, providing the immune boosters, providing all the Ayurvedic supplements, whatever it takes to keep us alive." the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is doing everything. Okay, so we request everyone to please stay tuned as we'll be moving on to the power manifestation. And Rangarajan Rajan is saying it's a very planned quarantine, shows Swamiji's compassion and micromanagement. Absolutely, Rangarajan ji, what you're saying is absolutely right. So thank you so much, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this segment. And we will now be moving on to the power manifestation, and see you all tomorrow at 2 a.m. IST for the Devi Parashakti Akashia program. The next program starts at 2 a.m. IST and the darshan will be at around 6 a.m. IST. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be ending with the Purna Mantra and leading on to the next is the power manifestation. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat Sarvam Bhagat Shri Nithyananda Parameshiva Padukar Pranamastu. Om Nithyanandam. Thank you, Nithyanandam.
Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Let's start with the Sadguru Vandanam. Nithyanandam Paramasukhanam